Claire Ainsley had never been to Hollow Pike. It wasn't even on most maps anymore. She came across it by accident, buried in a faded file from the Country Records office. Just a footnote and a land audit that was reported in 1901. She was chasing anomalies for a zoning project, but there it was. A house deed, still active, a plot of land marked as residential, and a signature filed just 2 weeks ago? Silas Reed. Which, well, it made absolutely no sense because Silas Reed, he had been dead for, well, 112 years. Claire was nothing if not curious. She pulled every record she could find: births, deaths, obits, property transfers. Silence. No record of a structure, no postal code, just a deed that updated itself. And every clerk who had touched the file before her no longer with the department. Some had retired, two had died, but one had simply vanished. So she did what she thought was the smartest thing to do. She drove out there. The road, it was little more than gravel and mud. GPS cut out an hour back. Her phone had, well, you guessed it, no service. The trees, pressed in tight like woods, wanted her gone. But up ahead, just past two derelict stone barns, she saw it. The red house. 2 stories, crimson painted, faded to rust, porch swing creaking in still air, curtains drawn, a single attic window, like a watching eye. Claire parked and stepped out. Every part of her said, "Get in the car and leave." But something deeper, it whispered, "You have already been here." She climbed the porch steps. They groaned underfoot like they resented being disturbed. The front door, you guessed it, just like out of a horror movie, it opened without a touch. Inside was dust, shadow, and cold. The kind of cold that wasn't temperature, it was memory. Forgotten sorrow lingering like perfume. A grandfather clock stood still at 3:33, its pendulum missing. Faded wallpaper curled like ancient scrolls. A single chair faced the corner of the room. She lifted her phone and took a photo. The flash cracked the gloom. In that flash, just for a moment, there was a reflection in the cracked hallway mirror. A man, pale, expressionless, watching her. She spun. Nothing. Her phone, out of nowhere, buzzed. An auto-uploaded photo from her cloud. Not the photo that she took, though. It was a new one. It was of her, standing outside the house looking at the porch. But she hadn't taken it. She tried to speak, to say, "What the hell is going on?" But her voice caught in her throat like a stone. She backed toward the door, but it closed behind her with a sound like a sigh. And then the stairs groaned. One step, then another. But nobody was visible. But someone, they were coming down those stairs. Then, well, she heard it. Knock, knock. Not on the front door, on the attic door above. Claire turned slowly. The attic stairs spiraled up like a question, a curl of dust floating down from above. She should have left. She should have run. But her legs carried her upward. Every step, it felt familiar. Halfway up, she felt it, a sharp, metallic coldness right in her chest. A memory, not her own, a scream, a child, a locked attic door, firelight, a lullaby. The attic door was shut, but only barely. She reached out. A whisper seeped from beneath. "She's here. She remembers." She flung the door open. Inside, dust swirled like a storm caught in amber. At the center of the room, a child's wooden rocking horse was swaying on its own. Beside it, a trunk with the initials C.R. Claire stepped forward, fingers trembling. She lifted the lid. Inside, there was a cracked porcelain doll, a strand of silver hair A death certificate for Clara Reed, age 9, presumed lost, 1913. And underneath, her own birth certificate. Name, Claire Ainsley. Mother, unknown. Father, deceased. Birthplace, Red House, Hollow Pike. Claire's heart felt like it stopped. She stumbled back, eyes wide. The rocking horse stopped. The air began to shimmer. Suddenly, every wall of the attic was covered in portraits. Hundreds of them, all children, all the same girl, all her, but aging, decaying, fading. She tried to run, but the attic door slammed shut behind her. A final photo buzzed to life on her phone, a live shot of her in the attic, screaming. 3 days later, a surveyor's drone spotted a car abandoned at the edge of the Hollow Pike. Inside were fingerprints, strands of hair, and a phone still open to a photo gallery full of images. Every image showed the same house, but the house itself, gone again. Locals say Hollow Pike doesn't exist anymore. The road turns to forest. Nothing's there. But if you're driving late on a foggy night and your GPS reroutes, if your radio begins to cut in and out, if you see a red porch light flicker where no house should be, don't stop. Because the house remembers, and the attic is never quite full. The end. Hopefully you enjoyed another episode of Tales of the Beard. I'm Matt, and we'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.